Mexico. You came in a couple of days ago and have kind of done an overview of this book that you have. Tell me a little bit about the last couple of days.
The last couple days here have been really fun. I may buy a house up here. I love this town. Usually you just pass this. I do on the interstate, and I've never got off here, but I'm so thrilled to be here the last few days, and I've just had a ball. I'm not looking forward to leaving tomorrow, I can tell you that.
You're like a lot of people who just drive right on through, or they stop up here at McDonald's or get gas and go right on down the road. But what is it that you have seen that you makes this town a little more likable for you?
Well, I like the history. The racetrack out there really caught my eye of what it must have been like back in those days. And I went down to the library and pulled up all the information they had, and that all on the racetrack. But it also gave me a lot of history about the town, and just pretty dang cool. And I enjoy driving up the side of the hill there, going up towards the Raton sign. Because there's some great little houses up there, and I may buy a house up there.
So the book that you've written is about a famous murder that took place in Oklahoma, and
Murder of 1970. 300,000-acre rancher owned the New Orleans Saints football team, held the largest life insurance policy ever written on anyone in the world when it happened in September of 1970. And I'm the author of the book, and it was told to me by the guy that was there that night, Chub Anderson, and this is his life story.
Okay, now, of course, everybody's going to want to know, have they solved the murder?
It is solved in the book, and on the film tonight they'll see that, but I can't talk about because of this subpoena and under a gag order what's in the book.
Okay, and this is from the state of Oklahoma?
It's in Oklahoma, but they have land all over the world. They have a 1,000,000-acre ranch in Africa. They used to. I don't know if they still do. The ranch there in Oklahoma was 300,000 acres, and they have several ranches around the country that are that size as well, I understand.
Is this the only book that you have written?
It is not. I write a weekly column for the largest chain of newspapers in the country. I'm a hired gun as far as writing. I've written several other books for other people. This is the second book I put together for myself, besides my weekly column that comes out every week.
Tell me about your weekly column. What all does it entail?
Well, it's just my travels around the countryside and interesting things I find, like Raton here, and I think I'm going to put a story about the racetrack together because I found that so interesting. But whatever I find interesting, that's what I write about. They don't tell me what to write about anymore. It's been running for 17 years. I just send it in, and they send me a little check at the end of the month.
Okay. Have you had the opportunity to get out toward some of the other historical areas, such as up York Canyon, or not up York Canyon, but Sugar Eat Canyon, where the mine was at, and some of that?
I did. That was my first day here. I drove up there, and I found that that's a great place up there. And I wish the chamber would have warned me about driving over that dam up there on that second lake just a little bit. I wanted to back up or turn around, and there's no place, so you got to go over it, and then you got to come back. So, yeah, that was a great drive.
Have you looked into some of the stuff that has taken place down in Cimarron at the St. James in that area? Understand, Black Jack and Wyatt Earp and some of those old famous Westerners have been down through there as well, and Kit Carson.
I have. I've written about the St. James quite a bit, and about Mr. Bob Funk, who owns the St. James and the Express UU Bar. I met Bob Funk about 7 or 8 years ago, and Mr. Funk is mentioned in the book because he's been an influence on me, and I was in my late 50s when I met him, and it's really cool to meet another man that influences you with that type that he did to me. I mean, I really appreciate the things Mr. Funk does in his life. But I've been out to the Express UU Bar in the St. James several times, and I go up to Angel Fire and Red River, and I've written about all those over the years. At one time or another, I've covered a lot of different places out here.
Sounds like we need to get you up on Vermejo Park then.
Yeah, I want to go. I'm not looking forward to leaving tomorrow. I can tell you that. This 7 days hadn't been long enough.
Well, I'm glad you have enjoyed it. I'm glad you like Raton, and thank you for coming. You also travel kind of with this gun show that they have. What brought you into that?
The book got me into different trade shows. I've been traveling with different trade shows. This gun show just coordinated that it was here with the film. So that's it was good. I'm busy, I can tell you that. I'm either downtown or I'm out here or down with Billy D, who's my new friend. I love Billy D. If I was a younger guy, I'd come up here and go to work for Billy D.
Well, we could definitely use the help. Now, you've been downtown to the Schuler and the El Raton. What kind of venue do you feel that worked out for you?
It's been good. I've enjoyed visiting with people. We haven't had mobs of crowds, but you have a small town here. In other bigger cities, like Tulsa, we've sold out a theater in Tulsa 3 days in a row. And Oklahoma City it's going, and I understand it's a sold-out show. And there's a theater similar to the Schuler in Miami, Oklahoma, called the Coleman. And it's a real famous old Route 66 theater also. But they ran about 500 people in there 2 days in a row on this film. So it's been fun. I enjoy meeting people. I've been traveling with Barry Switzer, who's a pretty well-known football coach, and Barry and I have become friends, and I've met a lot of nice people through this book, like Barry and Bob, and so yeah, it's been a great trip, and I'm working on another book that's going to come out in the fall, and it's called Before the Dew. And I'm not really supposed to be visiting about that too much either, but if you watch the website, originalbuffalodale.com, you'll see all about it and see how you can maybe even get a book before they hit the bookstores, if I don't get subpoenaed and put under a gag order again. So
I understand how that goes. So what brought about the video portion of this book?
Well, Barry had mentioned something about all the clips I had, and it just sounded like a good way to put it together because the clips are real people. And I had been filming Chubb Anderson since he was caught. He'd been on the run for 16 years, and they caught him working for Ted Turner, and I started filming him from day one. So I had hours and hours of film footage, and including well, I can't go that way. You're trying to trick me here. You're trying to get me to say something I can't talk about. All right.
Well,
we're going to end it with that, me being under subpoena and me not talking and
well, then the book really kind of does have a little bit of a tie to this part of the country, since Ted Turner owns the Vermejo Ranch.
It does, and since Bob Funk has land out here, and the Mullendores had land out here also. So yes, there is ties, and Red River is mentioned in here because Chubb Anderson took one of his wives up there to go skiing. So I got to mention Red River in this area in the book. So.
Well, very good. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you.
Appreciate it.